Hello everyone. In the previous video, we have learned about some properties of the 2D discrete Fourier transforms. Now, in today's lectures, we will see about the basics of filtering in the frequency domain. In that, zero phase shift filters, examples of non-zero phase shift filters, step of filtering in the frequency domain, and corresponds between filtering in a spatial and frequency domain. So let's start with the basic filtering in the frequency domain. So filtering techniques in the frequency domain are based on modifying the Fourier transform to achieve a specific objective and then computing the inverse DFT to get us back to the image domain. So it follows from the equation that the two components of the transform to which we have access are the transform magnitude and the phase angle. So visual analysis of the phase component generally is not very useful. The spectrum provides some useful guidelines as to gross the characteristics of the image from which the spectrum was generated. For example, consider this image, which is a scanning electron microscope image of an integrated circuit, magnified approximately 2500 times. So, aside from the interesting construction of the device itself, we note two principal features: strong edges that run approximately at plus or minus 45 degree, and the Fourier spectrum, which is in the figure B, shows the approximate components along with the 45-degree directions. So that they correspond to the edges, it is just mentioned. So looking carefully along the vertical axis, we see a vertical component that is off axis slightly to the left. So this component was caused by the edges of oxide protrusions. So here the angle of the frequency components with respect to the vertical axis corresponding to the with the respect to the horizontal axis, so of the long white element, and not that also the zeros in the vertical frequency components corresponding to the narrow vertical span of the oxide protrusions. So these are typical of the types of associations that can be made in general between the frequency and spatial domains. So the basic filtering in this frequency domain, in that frequency domain filtering fundamentals. So filtering in the frequency domain consists of the modifying the Fourier transform of an image and then computing the inverse transform to obtain the processed result. So the given digital image fxy of size m into n, the basic filtering equation in which we are interested has the form gxy is equal to the inverse form of h uv into f uv, where the inverse is a IDFT, FUV is the DFT of the input image, FXY HUV is a filter function, which is also known as simply the filter or the filter transform function, and GXY GXY is the specification, which is the filtered output image. So the functions f, h and g are the arrays of size m cross n, same as the input image. So the product HUV, FUV is the formed using array multiplication. So the filter function modifies the transform of the input image to yield the processed output GXY. So the specification of HUV is simplified considerably by using functions that are symmetric about their center, which requires that FUV be centered also. So this is also accomplished by the multiplying the input images by minus 1 raised to x plus y prior to the computing its transfer. So here figure shows the result of this operation using this equation gxy is equal to inverse of huv fuv. So as expected, the image become much darker by an average of 0 implies the extension of the negative intensities. So therefore the it illustrates the principle that this figure is not true representation of the original, as all negative intensities were clipped, means set to 0 for the displayed purposes. So this figure illustrates these effects. So not that similarly we have shown in above figure. The reason is that the high pass filter shown eliminates the DC term, resulting in the same basic effect that lead to be this image. So adding a small constant to the filter does not affect sharpening. So it does prevent elimination of DC term and thus preserves tonality. So here the top row is the frequency domain filters, and this bottom row corresponding the filter images obtained by using that equation. So we used here a is equal to 0.85. In figure C, to obtain figure F, the height of the filter itself is 1. So this figure A, which shows a simple image, and figure B is the result of the low pass filtering the image with a Gaussian low pass filter and of the form of the figure A. So as expected, the image is blurred. So however, the blurring is not uniform. The top white edge is blurred but the side white edges are not. So padding the input image according to equation 31 and 32 before applying this equation results is filtered is in image C. So figure C is the result of low pass filtering with padding compared to the right area of vertical edges in figure B and C. So here g of xy is equal to inverse of HUV FUV, which is of the zero phase shift filters. So we not that FUV is equal to RUV plus J into IUV. So we conclude this equation by analyzing the phase angle of filtered transform. Because the DFT is a complex array, we can express it in terms of its real imaginary parts, which is FUV is equal to RUV plus JIUV. So here GXY is equal to inverse of HUV RUV plus JHUV into IUV. The phase angle is not altered by filtering in the manner just described, because HUV cancels out when the ratio of the imaginary and real parts is formed in this equation. So filters that affect the real and imaginary parts equally and thus have no effect on this field are appropriately called zero phase shift filters. So small changes in the phase angle, we can have a dramatic effects on the filtered output. So this figure illustrates the effect of something as a simple as a scalar image. So here figure A shows an image resulting from multiplying the angle array, so which is by 0.5 without changing mod FUV, and then computing the IDFT. So the phase angle is here is multiplied by 0.5 and they remain unchanged, but the intensity distribution is quite distorted. So figure B shows the result of multiplying the phase by 0.25. The image is almost unrecognizable. So small changes in the phase angle can have dramatic usually desirable effects on the filtered output. Now the summary of steps for filtering in the frequency domain. So these two sections can be summarized as follows. Given an input image fxy of size m into n, obtain the padding parameters p and q from the equation 31 and 32, which has p is equal to 2m and q is equal to 2n. So form a padded image fpxy of size p into q by appending the necessary number of zeros to fxy. Third one is multiply fp into of xy by -1 raised to xy to center its transform. Then compute the DFT FUV of image from step 3. Then generate a real symmetric filter function star HUV of size p into q with the center at coordinates p by 2, q by 2. So here star generate from a given special filter. So we pad the special filter and multiply the expanded array by -1 raised to x plus 1 and compute the DFT of the result to obtain the centered HUV. So next is form the product GUV is equal to HUV FUV using array multiplication. Seventh is obtain the proceed image GPXY is equal to real inverse of GUV is into -1 raised to x plus y. So here obtain the final processed result GXY by extracting the m into n region from the top left quadrant of GPXY. So here this figure illustrates the preceding steps. So the legend in the figure explains the source of the image. So if it were enlarged, then figure C would show black dots intervaled in the image because negative intensity are clipped to 0 for the display. So here figure H is the characteristics of the dark border exhibited by the low pass filtered images processed using zero padding. Now the correspondence between the filtering in the spatial and frequency domain. So the link between the filtering in the spatial and frequency domain is the convolution theorem. So we defined a filtering in the frequency domain as the multiplication of a filter function HUV times FUV, the Fourier transform of the input image. So given a filter HUV, suppose that we want to find its equivalent representation in the spatial domain. So here let HU is denoted the 1D frequency, one dimensional frequency domain Gaussian filter. So here HU is equal to A e raised to minus u square upon 2 delta square. Delta is the standard deviation of Gaussian curve. So the corresponding filter in the spatial domain is obtained by taking the inverse Fourier transform of HU. So Hx is equal to root 2 pi del AE raised to minus 2 pi square del square x square. These equations are important for two reasons. First, they are a Fourier transform pair, both components of which are Gaussian and real. This facilitates analysis because we do not have to be concerned with the complex number. In addition, Gaussian curves are intuitive and easy to manipulate. And the second one is functions behave reciprocally when HU has a broad profile, means large value of del. So Hx has the narrow profile and vice versa. So as del approaches infinity, HU tends towards a constant function and Hx tends toward the impulse which implies no filtering in the frequency and spatial domain respectively. So now more complex filters can be constructed using basic Gaussian functions. So for example, we can construct the high pass filter as a difference of Gaussians. So here HU is equal to AE raised to minus U square upon 2 del square 1 minus B into E raised to minus U square upon 2 del 2 2 del square 2, with A is greater than equal to B and del 1 greater than equal to del 2. The corresponding filter in the spatial domain is Hx is equal to root 2 pi del 1 AE raised to minus 2 pi square del 1 square x square minus root 2 pi del 2 B e raised to 2 pi square del square and into 2 into x square. So how can we find it is a high pass filter or low pass filter? So here figure A and B shows a plots of Gaussian low pass filter in the frequency domain and the corresponding low pass filter in the spatial domains. So suppose that we want to use the shape of Hx in figure B as a guide for specified the coefficient of a small spatial mass. So the key similarity between the two filters is that all their values are positive. So we conclude that we can implement low pass filtering in the spatial domain by using mask with all positive coefficients. So for reference, figure B shows two of the masks discussed in this section. So here figure C and D shows the plots of these two equations. So we note again the reciprocity in width, but the most important feature here is that Hx has a positive center term with negative terms on either side. The small marks shown in figure D capture this property. So here this figure, in that figure A is the image of the building and second one is the image of its spectrum. So figure A shows a 600 into 600 pixel image fxy that we wish to filter, and figure B shows its spectrum. Now this figure shows a Sobel mask hxy. The perspective plot is explained here. So because the input image is of size 600 into 600 pixels and the filter is of size 3 by 3, we avoid wraparound error by padding f and h to size 600 into 2 into 602 pixels. So the Sobel mask exhibits odd symmetry provided it is embedded in an array of zeros of even size. So to maintain this symmetry, we place hxy so that its center is at the 602 into 602 padded array. So this is an important padded array in the forming of hpxy. So here figure A shows the perspective plot of HUV and figure B shows the HUV as an image. So here function HUV is used as any other frequency domain filter in the procedure. Figure C is the result of using the filter just obtained in the procedure outlined in this section, which is used to filter the image in image A. Figure D shows the result of filtering the same image in the spatial domain directly using hxy in the procedure. So here how we can generate HUV. So if size is 0 greater than less than equal to x less than equal to 599, and for the same for the y, and 600 less than equal to x less than equal to c 602, or for y, then for x for the range of 0 to 559 it will fxy. Otherwise, if range is 600 to 602 it will 0. And here hpxy, for that if 0 is less than equal to x less than equal to 2 and 0 less than equal to y less than equal to 2, then it will be hxy. And if 3 less than equal to x less than equal to 602 or 3 less than equal to y less than equal to 602, then it will be 0. So here p is greater than equal to a of 600 plus c of 3 minus 1. So the answer will be 602. And if q greater than equal to b 600 plus d 3 minus 1, then answer will be 602. So for generate HUV, first step is multiply HPXY by minus 1 raised to x plus y to center the frequency domain filter. Second step is compute the forward DFT of the result in step 1. After that, set the real part of the resulting DFT to 0 to account for parasitic real parts, and then multiply the result by minus 1 raised to u plus v, which is implicit when hxy was moved to center of hpxy. Thank you.